Alright, how are you doing, everyone? This is going to be a archer trip from my home base at Norwood to Nantucket. So I've already done a lot of the pre-flight here. For the simulator, a lot of my pre-flight is just ensuring that my peripherals are actually connected. So I got my rudder pedals here. This is all working right. I got my throttle quadrant all set up, and of course you can hear me right now, so my mic is on. I'm once again using Say Intentions, and that is basically, I mean, for VFR flights, Say Intentions has been a little bit, well, dare I say, wonky. So we'll see how flight following goes with this. I like to use Say Intentions instead of VATSIM for this kind of stuff, mainly because I like to be able to switch frequencies a lot. And the problem is with VATSIM is unless you have an event going on where there's full coverage of everything, you don't really have that level of immersion, because you're basically, if it's top down and you got Boston Center on and that's it, you're going to just stay with Boston Center the entire time. I like to be able to switch frequencies, use my kneeboard to figure out which frequencies to use, because this is actually going to be a practice flight for a real world flight I'm doing tomorrow. So I just want to make sure that I can get my bearings straight. It's been about 2 weeks since my last flight, which was to Portland, Maine. I did the same thing for Portland, Maine. I didn't broadcast it here, but that did help immensely. It kind of gives you that extra, reassurance that you can do this. Is really what it comes down to. So I'm going to, there's a lot that I would do on the pre-flight that isn't really practical for a flight simulator. For example, sumping the pumps. I can, of course, make sure that the tie downs and chocks are off. The Archer I have is not really well suited for, or the Archer I have, I don't think it actually has chocks or tie downs as an add-on, so I don't have to worry about that as much. But I really, I'd like to make sure of that. So yeah, with that being said, really, I'm pretty much ready to go here. So I even set the proper time. It's real world weather, but the time is 10:09 a.m., which is when I'm pretty much expected to start heading out. And so what we're going to do is, one of the things I do in my pre-flight is just make sure that my altimeter is set to the go airport elevation, even though the ATIS is going to tell me, it should tell me that it's 3020, which is in fact what I have in my weather briefing, so that sounds about right. I'm also going to set this to alt. It really should be alt. I never turn it off when I'm in the real flight, but yeah, it's good to actually make sure that it is set to alt anyways, because I'm in a rental, and the rentals are, people do different things to rentals. So alright, so I believe the last VFR flight I've done in that I streamed was in the Arrow, and that was the plane I was renting last year. This year I'm in the Archer. Two reasons for that. Number one, the Arrow availability was not as good this year as it was last year. The Archer is a newer plane, actually, and I like the avionics a little bit more in the Archer 2 I'm renting. And it's got nice leather seats. It's overall, I think, a better airplane for carrying a passenger. You know, the Arrow kind of looked a little more beat up. It was obviously very capable, and it was, you know, a solid machine, but as a passenger, you know, it had, like, if I remember correctly, it kind of had some ripped, torn upholstery and stuff like that. It just didn't look that nice. The Archer actually has leather seats and everything too, so it's a solid. It's not as complex, but it gets the job done. All right. I know I talk a little too much. All right, so I also realized I don't have my checklist on me at the moment. Where did that go? Usually it's glued to my keyboard, but oh, here it is. Oh yeah, I need to print out a new one too. My flight to Portland, it got a little crumpled because I was having trouble with getting it into the pocket next to me, so that's something else I'll do before tomorrow. But this'll do for today. I really need to laminate it, really. All right. So we did the pre-flight. Hobbs and talk is recorded. I got the documents. Flight controls are released. Parking brake is off. Avionics radio master is off. So yeah, I guess I can just make sure that I got fuel. Actually, to think of it, I did not. I didn't actually select the fuel, so why don't we do that? So yeah, the fuel is a little low for this flight. I'm going to fill it up to tabs, which is 17 gallons in each tank. Not 170. Alright. I'll also let this emulate sort of real world. I'm actually going to do 300, no, 3,000, 300 pounds. Oh, whoops. I see. Alright, so I'm actually 220. Can keep this at 190. Rear passenger, I have my backpack and the baggage. I usually put, well, let's do 20 pounds. What the heck? It might have, has oil and the tow bar and a few other things. So, alright, so there's that. So yeah, in the real world, when it's filled with tabs, the gauge likes to be a little bit more on the full side. That kind of threw me off a little bit, but that's fine. Okay, let's turn off the battery before we drain it. That'll make for a short trip. All right, we got ourselves. Yep, I checked the oil, and of course, you know, it's a simulated plane, so I don't have to worry about stuff like, are there any bad dents and rusting and detached problems that I need to figure out here. The antennas are fine. Tie downs are removed. So yeah, we got flaps are retracted. Passenger briefing. I guess this kind of counts as the passenger briefing. I would tell my passenger how to operate the radio in case of an emergency. Seatbelt, fire extinguisher. You know, what you want to do for the passenger briefing is tell them only what they really need to know immediately. Some pilots will say they will give them a full briefing on what to do in case of emergencies. All that does is heighten their blood pressure, and they're not going to remember what you said when the emergency happens anyways. It's better to brief them very quickly when an emergency occurs. Every emergency is different. The most important thing is for you to be calm for an emergency. So that's basically what I do. Alright, so the carb heat is off. Okay, so what we're going to do is start the engine. So when I was checking out this aircraft, this is the first time I've actually used a carbureted engine, and the two things that you have to that make this different from fuel injected is you're a little more apt for carb ice, of course, and the startup procedure is a little bit different. One thing that about carb ice with the Piper is I've been told you don't have to really worry about it as much as a lot of other aircraft, such as the Cessna, because the carburetor is a little more insulated. It's closer to the engine heat, so you don't need to worry as much about carb ice. And you know, right now we're sort of at a point where carb ice shouldn't be an issue anyways. We're not flying through dense moisture or anything like that. So alright, so we're going to turn this on, turn the fuel pump on, and then clear prop. Gotta remember that. That guy is there. If this were in real life, I'd tell him to get the hell away, because that's not a safe place to be for engine start, in case the brakes don't work or whatever. But I'm going to pretend he doesn't exist. Alright, it starts right up. Usually for a cold start I would have to prime the engine. Priming the engine, you want to try it first without priming, because if the engine's already primed, adding more is you risk flooding it, or just too much prime is not a good thing. So alright, let's lean the mixture a bit. Alright, so now we're going to turn on the avionics. That's another thing that threw me off. The avionics switch on the Archer is way over there. It's not in the main panel here. Like, I haven't flown too many airplanes, but that was a little different. So we're gonna turn on the good old Garmin. That's fine. Yep, I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay. So it's gonna do the GPS. While that is going on, I am going to do our departure ATIS, which is 119.
Oriel Airport, Information Hotel. 2153 Zulu. Wind 070 at 9er. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 9er. Altimeter 3020.
3020,
Density altitude 500 feet. Arriving and departing runways 3510. Advise on initial contact, you have Information Hotel. Norwood Memorial Airport, Information Hotel. 2153 Zulu. Wind 070 at 9er. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, clear. Temperature 21. Dew point 9er. Altimeter 3020. Density altitude 500 feet. Arriving and departing
I was going to
runways
say
3510.
5,000 feet. I'm like, wow.
Advise on initial contact, you have Information Hotel. Norwood Memorial Airport, Information Hotel. 2153
All right,
Zulu.
I'm going to turn that to that. I'm going to set this to guard just because. One thing that Say Intentions does not simulate is the occasional meowing on guard. That is not a myth. That does actually happen. And when it happens, it drives me nuts. I have not only heard meows on guard, but I have heard weird sounds that really should not be done, especially since, you know, you are, oh, here's my pen. You know, the whole purpose of guard is for emergencies and lost airplanes and stuff like that. I mean, occasionally you'll hear somebody on guard telling a pilot to tune to a certain frequency because, you know, they got lost somehow. That happens pretty often, but yeah. All right, so we're gonna just program this in. I really should be a little more quick on this because I started the airplane and that is Hobbs time that I am paying for. So that's one of the things I want to improve on is once the engine starts, that's when the money starts pouring out of my wallet, and I really need to, it really does add up. You know, on my flight to MYV, jeez, come on. On my flight to Portland a couple weeks ago. Oh, come on. No, it is MVY. Oh my goodness. So the reason I'm doing MVY instead of ACK, because we are going to Nantucket, is that I'm doing a leg. The main reason I'm doing a leg is because if you plot the course, there's a lot more open water with a direct course, and you know, I really don't want to do that. That's one of the factors that killed JFK Jr. really was he decided to cut over the Rhode Island Sound to get to Martha's Vineyard. That's at night. That's especially dangerous because you don't necessarily have any point on the horizon to look at because you're over open water. And, you know, he did get disoriented, and, you know, that's what led to the crash. I mean, there were a lot of other factors that led to the crash, but that's often the case with these kinds of accidents is it causes a, you know, it's the Swiss cheese model, basically. All right. So now I'm with ground. I am going to just pre-populate 126.0. Okay. And then that should be that. All right. Let's just do a final check of things. This is good. Going to turn the anti-collision light on. And all that good stuff. All right. So, let's see how they give me taxi instructions. It's either at your discretion with say intentions, or it will just make up a whole bunch of letters that make absolutely no sense, some of which don't even exist in in Norwood. So, let's see what they say. Norwood ground, Archer 9151 November. At the southern ramp, ready for taxi south departure. Dang, I forgot to say I had hotel.
Piper 9151 November, Norwood ground, taxi to runway 35 at your discretion.
Taxi 35 at my discretion, 9151 November. So yeah, the Say Intentions doesn't have all the airport diagrams laid out. Oh. See, this is why I say I don't like it when they say at my discretion, because, hang on, did I go the wrong way already? You know, I think there is an exit here. Okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, I really need to have like, I know Norwood very well at this point, but I should still have the airport diagram on my lap. So I have everything set to no traffic. I haven't tried out the new Say Intentions live traffic stuff yet. I'd like to and see how that works, but before I do that, I'd rather just, you know, try things out this way. The traffic is something I like to look at, like for real world practice, because oftentimes you do have to worry about traffic, but I'm not exactly sure how well Say Intentions is going to handle that. The real world aircraft has ADS-B in. This one does not, to my knowledge. I mean, maybe it does. I could be wrong. Alright, we're coming up to the end, so we're going to do our run up very soon. In fact, why don't I do it right here? So we're going to go here and then there. Just turn it at an angle, so. Alright, mixture is rich. Oil temperature is in the green. Rev it up to 2,000. Do our usual checks here. So vacuum's good, mag check right, mag check left, Now this this add-on aircraft does not properly simulate the power loss on carb heat. Either that or the carb heat actually doesn't work on this aircraft. I don't know. That's a good, actually, that's a good question. Maybe I should actually check the specs for that. Okay, I'm going to turn off the fuel pump and make sure that that's, I still have gas there. Okay. And we're going to set it to idle and make sure it doesn't sputter out. Okay. I'm gonna clean the mixture. I'm gonna switch to tower, and then 124.1. It's gonna be our departure frequency, which I'll program right now. Thing I want to get is a peripheral for this on my desk. I think that'll really come in handy. Okay, so before takeoff, primer is locked, fuel pump is on. Pitot heat we don't need. Flight instruments are checked. Flight controls, flaps are fine. Seat belts. I don't have a seat belt on my office chair. That's okay. Door and window are locked. Lights, yep, okay. Takeoff briefing, all right. Norwood Tower 9151 November is holding short 35, ready.
Piper 9151 November Norwood Tower, runway 35, wind 070 at Niner, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff 35, 9151 November. Alright, now we're going to do landing light, rich in the mixture, lights, camera, action. Fuel pump is on, yep, all that. I've got the, I don't need a squawk code right now, so I am going to get flight following on the way. We'll see how that works. Once again, it's not perfect. In the real world airport, the hold short bars are actually right next to the runway. I don't know if this is just old scenery or what. Alright, so here we go. I know Norwood did change its taxi a bit. Ooh, wow. Yep, that is a crosswind. 070 at Niner is no joke. I should have asked for runway 10, but that's okay. Alright. Good to take off. Oh. Yeah, okay. There we go. Alright. Let's trim this out. I need to trim already. Yep. Trim for climb. There we go. Okay. So he didn't specify a direction, so I'm going to assume left traffic here, even though I'm kind of flying. I'm going to be flying to the east, but so yeah, if I were landing, I would definitely ask for 070. Crosswinds, I try to avoid them as much as I can. I feel like I've gotten better at them over time, but I'm still, I don't know, I still get nervous with them. Like stiff crosswinds, you know, it's fine if it's a few degrees off, whatever, but 70 at Niger for a 3.5 heading is not that fun, especially if it's gusting. I also have to be mindful of the Bravo airspace. In fact, whoa, that's not what I wanted. Come on, what are you doing? There we go. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna get it. Oh, jeez. I feel like I need to get a new yoke as well. I feel like this one is a little finicky. I've got the Logitech flight yoke system, which, you know, served me well for a while, but I don't know, it's not as precise. There are some much better yokes out there that are certainly, oh geez, come on. Okay. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to bust the Bravo here. So that's my number one goal.
Piper 5-1 November, you're leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved. 9151 November. Thank you. So we'll turn the fuel pump off. I'm going to switch over to Boston Approach, where I will ask for flight following. Boston Approach, 9151 November, is a Piper Archer, 2600, just left Norwood to the south. Request flight following to Nantucket.
Piper 5-1 November, squawk 6525 and ident.
6525 and ident. Piper 9151 November. Okay, so then we'll hit ident, which is there. Okay.
Piper 5-1 November, radar contact, 5 south of Norwood at 2500 feet, Norwood altimeter 30.18.
3018, you, 9151 November. Oh, I almost used my UPS call sign again. I gotta stop doing that. I do that in real life
Piper
too.
5-1 November, Norwood altimeter 30.18, radar contact confirmed.
Yes, okay. So there we go. There we go with the over chattery chatterbox for flight following there. It already told me radar contact. It already gave me the altimeter. It just needs to shut up at this point. Yeah, there's just a few things that are a little annoying about this thing. So yeah, this the Archer.
Piper 5-1 November, contact Boston departure on 118.25.
11825, 9151 November. Jeez, come on. See, I did not move my yoke at all, and it just put me into a dive for some reason. It's really weird. I don't know what's up with that. Boston Approach, 9151 November, 2700. Yeah,
Piper 9151 November, Boston departure. Good morning, Mansfield, altimeter 30.18.
3018, 915 November. Alright, we're about to leave the Bravo shelf, which means we can climb to 5,500 in just a moment. So yeah, I at least stayed under the Bravo shelf. I just wanted to maintain 2,500. So now I'm leaving, and so we can climb again. I'm wondering if they're going to notice that I'm going to Martha's Vineyard and comment on that. I'm going to tell them that I am just taking a leg. You see the line of clouds up ahead. I'm hoping that's not a factor, but if it is, I can easily just go under them. It should be much cooler out there than it is on the surface. It's one of the things I love the most about flying in the summer. You're getting some of the freshest air up here. Oh wow, we're already, it's Providence over there, so we're making good time here. Okay, come on. Alright, I'm going to reduce the throttle a bit. I'm going to say my, prop setting should be, pretty sure it's just 2494, so 2,500. All right. Let's see what our ground speed is right now. Ground speed is 132. Planned for 142, so okay. Well, descending like that is going to help me out a little bit. Okay, come on, where's the map? What's this message? Oh, yeah. Really should have done that. It's one of the things I'm always forgetting to. Alright. Oh, I see what I'm doing. There we go. There's the map. Okay. Yeah, this Garmin is a little
Piper
bit...
5-1 November, contact Providence departure on 128.7.
128.7. 9151 November. Providence approach, Piper 9151 November, 5,600.
Piper 9151 November, Providence departure. Good morning, Taunton altimeter 30.18.
3018, 9151 November. Alright. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna clean the mixture a bit. Should have done that a few minutes ago, but so yeah, you can see Martha's Vineyard out there. Okay, why is this thing climbing? The real aircraft is, once you're trimmed out, this thing just stays trim. It is not supposed to be like this. One of the things I'd really like to do is have a better yoke. The good yokes are pretty expensive, but might be worth it. I believe this one was like, I don't know, 120 bucks. And it's about 4 years old now, and I feel like it's also gotten a little, I don't know, it's gotten stiff, which really does not help with the more precise controls, especially on flare. We'll see how we do on the flare, because it's supposed to be pretty windy in Nantucket, which is pretty common. there is New Bedford. Bedford Airport's right there. Quite a few flights I've done to New Bedford in my flight training. It's where I did my first set of solos too. I trained in Providence, but my solo was in New Bedford for the 3 landings. Actually, I take that back. My first solo was at Providence, but I was only able to get 2 landings in because the winds were so bad, and I was having a hard time with those landings. So we went with New Bedford instead. Or later on, we opted to go to New Bedford. It was another day, though. Alright, let's see if I can trim this out now. Alright, there we go. There we go. That's a trim. There we go. Alright, let's see how long this lasts. The P factor on this, or something about the left turning, or actually in this case right turning tendencies is a little wonky too. I don't know if that's the aircraft or what, but oh, you see, here we go. I did not move anything, and now I'm at a descent. Oh, you see that? I think that was some turbulence there. Alright, my time of descent is estimated to be a few miles after turning at Martha's Vineyard. Let's see. Descent was 6 miles. Okay. And 6 miles and 20 miles from Nantucket. You see, now I'm not trimmed out. Now, it could just be because of the atmospheric conditions. I mean, I am starting to fly over the water, the winds are different, the temperature is different. It might require a different trim setting, but thought, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought Boston Approach covered Martha's Vineyard, not Providence. I know Providence covers New Bedford, but I don't know about Martha's Vineyard. I thought the Boston Tracon typically did that one, but whatever, I'm not going to worry too much about that. Although Say Intentions has been horrible at who covers what. They will hand me off to Portsmouth Control. They call it Portsmouth Control even, which is not even a thing in the United States anyways, when I'm flying to Portland. Portsmouth is an airport. It's a class Delta. I'm at 5,500, 6,500, whatever it is. They should not be talking to me. I don't understand. And, you know, it's not even like Portsmouth Tower. They call it Portsmouth Control. It should be either Boston approach or Portland approach. There's no Portsmouth anything at that altitude. It's Portsmouth Tower when you are within their Delta airspace. That's it. Let me do this. Track is 165. I should have done this before I even left the ground. Wow, that's slow. Also, why is this set to... It looks like this isn't even set to the GPS. Oh, there we go. That makes no sense. Okay. Yeah, this is the Carringano Archer. Carringano, it's okay. It's not. I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's certainly not study
Piper
level.
51 November, contact Boston departure on 133.75.
3375, 9151 November. It's it gets the job done.
Piper 51 November, frequency change approved. Contact Boston departure on 133.75.
Yes, you told me that. That's what I'm doing. Boston approach, Piper 9151 November, 5,500.
Piper 9151 November, Boston departure, good morning. Gosnold altimeter 30.15.
3015, 9151 November. That's a significant. That's quite the change. All right. So you can kind of see I was not perfectly on course. I was east of the Magenta by quite a bit. Actually, since I'm at, let's try to listen to the ATIS 1275. I'll do it on this one.
An initial contact, you have information Tango. Nantucket Memorial Airport, information Tango. 2253 Zulu. Wind 020 at 17. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, view at 8500 feet. Temperature 19er. Dew point 14. Altimeter 3015. Density altitude 300 feet. Arriving and departing runways 633. Advise on initial contact, you have information Tango. Nantucket Memorial Airport.
Ooh. 020 at 17, which means if I take runway 6, that is a 40-degree wind, which makes a Still makes a notable crosswind. We'll see how I do here. Real life, hard to say what my feelings are on that. I typically like a 8-knot crosswind. That's sort of my limit. I'm a little conservative, but I'll just take a quick look. I've got an E6B here to just really get the numbers here. Where is my E6B? I should have this a little more accessible on my phone here. And I am climbing again. Come on. I was perfectly trim. What happened? Okay. Here we go. Alright, the wind direction is 020 at 17, runway 6. Crosswind is 10, yeah, 10, really 11 knots, which is not ideal for me. It's one of those things, like, when it comes to crosswind, I would at least try it, but I would not force it. So pretty soon I should start my descent. In fact, let's see, how far am I from Nantucket right now? I am 24.3, so once that hits 20 miles, that's when I'm going to start my descent. Now I'm trimmed out again. But now it's starting to drift. But I'm not going to worry too much about that because I'm going to be descending soon anyways. So say goodbye to Martha's Vineyard. Say hello to Nantucket. They really are kind of next to each other, but they're not like there's still quite a bit of open water in between, and for my purposes, in fact, one thing I should have done a while back was switch tanks here. I'm going to switch to the right tank. You know, you kind of want to avoid open water as much as possible in these airplanes, because if you lose your engine, you're kind of in bad shape if you have to ditch it in the ocean like this. There's plenty of boat traffic around here. I think you would get rescued fairly quickly, but it's still not a fun time. Especially, it's sharks. There's going to be sharks to worry about, and you know, you are at Nantucket, which is basically where Jaws took place. And I saw Jaws kind of recently, so I really don't want to, I don't want to worry about sharks. That being said, that's why you do your checklists. That's why you make sure that you are your fuel situation is right. You want to keep an eye on the oil pressure, oil temp, all of the stuff that keeps the engine moving. Listen for any possible roughness in the engine. You know, make sure you do that while you're over the land, so that you have as much confidence in this going over this water as you can. One thing I could have done, in fact, was actually go over that way. Just having that little patch of land there might be ideal, depending on how many trees are on top of it. I should be getting a handoff to tower, and what I should do is just put this in, have this at the ready. 118.3. Is just say airport in sight, because it pretty much is. Airport is basically there. Boston approach, Piper 9151 November has the field.
Piper 51 November, cleared for visual approach runway 6 at Nantucket. Report field in sight.
Field is in sight, 9151 November. I swear, these AI bots do not listen to you. The field is in sight. Respond to me. Hand me off to tower, please. Boston approach, 9151 November. Can I contact Nantucket Tower?
Piper 51 November, contact Nantucket Tower on 118.3.
118.3, thank you. 9151 November. Alright. Nantucket Tower, Piper 9151 November, 12 miles to the west. Full stop at the FEO.
Piper 9151 November, Nantucket Tower, enter left base for runway 6.
Left base, runway 6, and we do have Tango 9151 November. Alright, so we're going to do OBS mode. I'm going to switch this over to there. OBS, there we go. Set this to 6. Alright. So left base, runway 6. So what I'm going to do is make sure I'm descending. I want to make sure that I am at pattern altitude before I... Well, actually, I don't know if I want to do pattern altitude. I want to make sure that I can glide into the runway just in case of any unfortunate events. I did one of my cross countries with my CFI during training to Nantucket, and one thing that she was very adamant about was having as high an altitude as practical when you're approaching these island airports, because once again, you'd rather be gliding to land than getting into the water, for a multitude of reasons. Once again, you got sharks, water landings are no fun, you basically guarantee that the airplane will never be flown again, and you know, it's just very, it's not fun at all. So if my engine quit right now, I'd still kind of be in a little bit of trouble, I guess. It's hard to say. These things can glide pretty long, but I don't know. Maybe what I should do is turn a little bit more. One thing about the simulator here is there's no other traffic, so I don't have to worry about extended downwinds or anything like that. It's really the fact that you often are going to have an extended downwind for these in the middle of July and August, and you're not going to want to be at pattern altitude for the entire extended downwind, just in case something goes wrong and you have to get back to land. So here we go. We are close to pattern altitude. I'm going to richen the mixture. I'm going to turn on the fuel pump. Let's look at the other. Okay, descend. Yep, car P as required. We don't have car problems. Okay. Fuel pump is on. Fuel selector full as tank, which it is. Car P flaps. Okay, so we are on our way. So yeah, right now I'm actually a little lower than I really should be. I'm approaching pattern altitude now. However, what I'm going to do is just bleed off some airspeed here so that we can start to get some flaps in. Okay, so we're at VFE, flaps 1. So right now,
Piper 5-1 November, wind 020 at 17. Runway 6 cleared to land.
runway 6 cleared to land, 9151 November. Alright, so we are cleared to land. So let's make sure we're well below VFE here. I'm going to get it down to like 90 knots maybe. Bit left of center here, or right of center rather. Let's get back into gonna get a feel for what 070. Yeah, I can already tell I'm crabbing quite a bit here. Let's correct for that. Okay, what's my flap setting? Yeah, flaps 2. So get to flaps 3. Yeah, this is... We'll see how windy it is tomorrow morning. Again, this is real world weather right now, and it's actually about what time is it? I think it's like 7 p.m. right now, and the winds do kind of pick up on these summer evenings. Before the sun sets. So yeah, wow, this is... Let's get to the center line. I should have done that a little while ago. And yeah, you can see that crab. That's quite the crab. Okay, let's slow down. Want to get to like 70 knots now. Ooh. Wow, that is, yeah, this is, okay. So yeah, okay. Okay, let's see how well I can do this. Oh, this is not good. Alright, go around. Tower 9151 November is going around.
Piper 51 November, wind 020 at 17, runway 6, cleared for the option.
Runway 6 cleared for the option, and yeah, we'll do a full stop, hopefully. 9151 November. Okay. So, yeah, let's get back up here and try this again, but this time with a little more confidence, shall we? Should have gone into a slip. I was just off the center line the whole time. This was not a good... Okay, let's get back into... Alright, stereo cockpit. Let's do this. Jeez. Right at the center line again. Okay, come on, let's do this the right way this time. See, this yoke just sucks. That's does not help my situation here. Okay. Alright, let's get into a slip. This was yeah, that was just absolutely terrible. But a lot of that is because of this fucking yoke. I hate it. Okay. Alright.
Piper 5-1 November, welcome to Nantucket. Contact ground on 132.5.
132.5, 9151 November. Alright. Is that really the ground frequency? 2.5. Nantucket ground, Piper 915 November, taxi to the FBO.
Piper 9151 November, Nantucket ground, taxi to FBO, ramp via Charlie. Have a good day.
Ramp via Charlie, 915 November. That's not. Oh, that's New Bedford. Where's Nantucket? No, that's Vineyard. Why Nantucket? Oh, that's right. Put it on my board. No, I didn't. Where did I put Nantucket's chart? Come on. Okay, I gotta be much better at this. Alright, there's Nantucket. And yeah, of course, there is no Charlie. Or, oh, I'm on Charlie. Okay, I get it now. I'm on Charlie. Okay, yeah. So, I've got to just make sure I've got my charts ready when I'm doing this. This is when I would be contacting this is when I would be contacting the FBO, and yeah, I don't know. I would expect a marshal alert to be somewhere around here, and then I would do that. All right. So why don't we just go right over here. Okay, turn this off. Yeah. Okay. I'm at the FBO, I wouldn't actually do that. Alright, so I'm going to do the return flight in a few minutes. So, and hopefully when I do that, I won't have as much of a problem with the landing. That was pretty embarrassing and a little bit concerning. At the same time, once again, I'm going to blame the yoke for most of it. I would not be off the center line by that much in the real plane. That was pretty bad. And I certainly would have gone around again. Alright. So, yeah, I'll be back. $400 hamburger here in Nantucket. I'm going to set the time to 3. No, let's do 3:20. Or yeah, that's fine. Idea here is the reason I'm a little bit picky about the time is because I just want to get an idea of what the sun is going to be like. I'm going to take note of any glare, possible glare issues while I'm doing this. So yeah, because we already did the, I mean, we were here for the day, a few hours. So my pre-flight, I would do a little more abbreviated of a pre-flight. Obviously, unless somehow my somebody broke in and stole my documents and airworthiness certificate, I really don't need to worry about that. I'm going to still sump the fuel. Let me just see how much fuel I have. I expected to only use like maybe 10 gallons at most. So we were at 17, so 7, 3, yeah, so we used about 10 gallons. So we're expecting to use another 10 gallons. Now, what does that mean? So the one thing that I have to be very mindful of is the use of the fuel selector. If I were to keep the gallons that I have, if I did want to refuel, I could do so. It's just on Nantucket, it's going to be very expensive. In fact, why don't we compare prices right now? So, avgas prices. So if we look at, so let's just look at Norwood, for example. So, avgas is about $6.92 at Norwood. In Nantucket, $7.35. So that means, let's assume I want to get 10 gallons, fill it up back to the tabs. So that's either $69 or $73. So I guess it's not that bad. It's a $4 difference. So perhaps I should just play it. Why don't we play it safe and get the gas, get the fuel at the FBO. That way I don't have as much reason to worry about anything. So yeah, I'll do that. Alright. So we got everything all set for engine start. So yeah, flaps are retracted, passenger briefing, whatever. Fuel selector, circuit breakers are checked, carpeet's off still, brakes will set and hold, and then we're going to start the engine here. So first we're going to do this. We're going to do clear prop, and then we'll start her up again. Once again, no need for priming it. I probably would need to prime it. 9 times out of 10 you have to prime it, basically. One thing I should have done here was set this back to 1200. Alright. Yep. Okay, so we were set to ground. We will stay on ground. That is tower. Alright, let's take a look here. Our departure approach is going to be 128.75. Okay, I'm glad I have that all set. Okay. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Okay. Didn't catch that I, what? Alright. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Okay. So, there should be a way to invert. There it is. So we will invert the flight plan. Alright. And we will also want to just add Martha's fingered back. Guess I shouldn't have moved it the last time. We will do that real quick here. There we go. Enter. Okay. There we go. Alright. Let's get the ATIS.
View at 8500 feet. Temperature 19er. Dew point 14. Altimeter 3015. Density altitude 300 feet. Arriving and departing runways 633. Advise on initial contact you have information Whiskey. Nantucket Memorial Airport, information Whiskey. 2253 Zulu. Wind 020 at 17. Visibility 10. Sky conditions, view at 8500 feet. Temperature 19er. Dew
So
point.
yeah, nothing has really changed, of course. I only slid the time up a few hours, but the weather is still just real-time weather, so... Alright, what I'm gonna do... Oh, that's leading it a little bit here. And let me just... now, I'm going to brief myself on the chart here, the actual... airport diagram. So if we're doing runway 6, there is a spot to do the run up. That's good. So we should expect echo. Alright, final check of things. Radios are all set, flight instruments checked. Parking brake is released. Alright. Nantucket ground, Piper 9151 November, ready for a taxi from the FBO. We have Whiskey, and it'll be a eastbound or westbound departure. Alright, you know what? Screw it. Why don't I just switch to VetSim? Because VetSim... Oh, shoot. Never mind. Oh, you know what? No, I can do VetSim. Alright, I'm going to do VetSim. Because it seems Say Intentions has just ignored me now, so so once again I'm just bleeding a whole bunch of money here as I get started because I'm just not properly prepared, right? Alright, let's do this. So now, instead of switching between all different frequencies, I'm just going to stick with 133 point nothing. I think they should cover me over here at Nantucket. Kind of depends. Sometimes they are only covering the immediate vicinity of Boston, but we'll see. We'll see. But there is no ATIS available, but we've got it. Alright, so we got this. We do have another person somewhere at Nantucket. I'm not exactly sure. The guy's name I believe I actually met this guy at Flight Sim Expo, so that would be interesting. Alright. Is there nobody? Oh wow. Traffic's very light. Where's the FBO? Or where's the FNO? Oh, I guess the FNO is way over in Texas. Okay. Alright, well, we're sort of in no man's land here for this, but I'm gonna do... Actually, let me make sure I got the... Yeah, my microphone. There we go. Alright. Boston approach. Are you covering Nantucket today? Oh geez, I might even be out of range. I don't know. Just looking at the map, doesn't look like they're covering Nantucket. Which is a shame. Tis a shame. Oh well. Yeah, the guy's not even answering me, so I'm just going to do CTAF. Oh, he did come back to me. Let's see what he says. Alright, yep, the answer is gulp. So we'll go to CTAF. Okay. Nantucket traffic. Piper 915 of November, taxiing runway 6 via Echo, Nantucket. Looks like Boston Approach went offline. Okay. Well, so much for VATSIM. I probably should have done VATSIM on the way here because there was coverage earlier, but I don't know. I'm kind of sick of say intentions with their VFR shenanigans, so I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to assume all the towers are on strike. And we're on CTAF the whole way. It's quieter that way anyways, right? Let's go over here to do our run-up. temperature is rich. Fuel pumps on, landing lights on. Lights, camera, action. Nantucket traffic, Piper's 9151 November, taking runway 6. West departure, Nantucket. So winds are still going to be, this is still going to be quite a crosswind here. So in fact, I can really feel it. Okay, up we go. Ah, that's not so bad. Well, as my yoke once again does its yoke thing. Really? Going to 303? Oh my god, come on, dude. Oh, okay. Alright. So now I don't have any Bravo shelf to worry about on departure. Turn off fuel pump. And I was gonna go to 6,600 on the way back. We're going to Nantucket. Yes. I was thinking that Family Guy episode where Chris goes to prep school where all the rich kids are. We have the bag of the poor. Alright. Reached cruise. I'll let it gain some bring it down to 25 again. Just double check here. Yeah, 25. Now we're steady. Ground speed is 115. We're expecting, wow, 144. What's going on here? Why am I going so slow? That's actually pretty bad. One thing that I keep forgetting is I do need to check my my performance data for my nav log, because it's very possible that I have it set for miles per hour instead of knots, because that's how Pipers work. Pipers like to mix the two. Depending on the year. So if you're using an old POH especially, they use miles per hour. In fact, even the airspeed indicator shows miles per hour in some of those old Pipers. It's a true anomaly of aircraft. I don't know of other aircraft that do it that way, and of course, you know, the newer Pipers are all knots, but it is something you have to keep in mind. When I was doing my checkout for this with a rental company, I made that mistake. I had some performance charts from a POH I just found. And, you know, the problem is, you know, when you want to have a POH that, of course, matches your model as best as it can if you don't have the actual POH handy. Because, you know, I'm at home, and my club does not have these POHs just available online. So you have to make do with what you got. It's not like, you know. And so the Archer POH I found was for 1970s, I think, or 1960s Archer. that belonged to some other club, and it had some of the performance data had stuff in miles per hour, but also in knots. You just had to find the right charts. They had graphs for both. And I didn't notice that until I was at the checkout, and all of my numbers were completely wrong. You know, knots and miles per hour are just different enough to make your numbers really wrong. And look at this. I am so much better trimmed on this return flight. I haven't had to really move anything. So let's hope that that continues, although right now I'm kind of drifting downwards. But I'm not gonna dare make too many changes, because there seems to be, it's like once I make a change, it really screws everything up. It is one of the reasons why doing Flight Simulator to kind of practice stuff in real life is not good for stick and rudder. If you are, it's really just for getting a feel for what your surroundings are going to look like, and kind of what to expect in terms of you know, getting a good sight picture maybe, and kind of just practicing. Hey, okay, I'm at the Martha's Vineyard waypoint. I'm going to turn to the north. That's sort of really what I'm doing, and I'm kind of just getting an idea. You know, again, it's like share flying. You know, I'm just making sure that I'm doing the checklists properly. I'm at cruise right now. I'm going to switch tanks actually right now, because that's kind of the time. Fuel flow good. Okay. But it's really just, you know, remembering things so that if you forget for the flight simulator, you make note of them for the next day when you're actually flying it. So that's really what I'm doing right now. Now, let's just do a quick calculation here. Because my current ground speed is 117. Okay, let's convert 117 knots to miles per hour, and that gives me 134, which is closer to the 144 that I had in my nav log. So I have a feeling that is my problem, and I'm going to try to fix that for tomorrow, just so that I don't have to, you know, I do like to compare on these cross countries, both to make sure that my fuel usage is well. I mean, I have plenty of fuel. I don't have to really worry about, you know, I got what, 37 gallons when I left, and I'm only expecting to use 10. Maybe if there is the worst crosswind in the world, I might have, or the worst headwind in the world, I might end up using 12 or 13. But, you know, overall, I don't have to worry too much about really going over on fuel unless I have to divert or something really bad happens, like, oh, what's this? What is this? I've never seen this message. What's this? Oh, I see. So now I'm just going to switch to 347. So 334. There we go. Alright. So yeah, much more trimmed out now. I mean, yes, I'm above by 100 feet, but that was a very slow drift. I have to remember I am on VATSIM, so I should just prepare the CTAF for KOWD. 126 nothing. All right. So I'll just have that ready. But yeah, the weather all weekend is going to be fantastic. In fact, if it weren't for the airplane being taken on Sunday, could have been kind of cool to spend the night in Nantucket. Although I really can't afford that, honestly. But just need to descend quite a bit now. Just do that adjustment just a little bit. So according to the latest weather observation, Norwood has no wind, so I'm gonna do straight in 3.5, and I won't have to worry about crosswind anything, assuming that data is synced up correctly with my simulator anyways. I won't prepare for anything, but now my next is Norwood, and my time of top of descent is going to be, well, it's estimated to be 19 miles away from Norwood. I'm going to do a little bit sooner though, because I'm expecting to be straight in 3.5, which is basically, I mean, I'm not going to move. Not going to move much at all. In fact, it's literally, I am so close to, my track is basically I can say I'm on a 42-mile final for this runway. That's how straight it is. So, oh jeez, gotta adjust my, yeah, so much for being trimmed out. So yeah, I might do, well, actually, I do need to make sure that I'm, under the shelf anyways. So I will have to account for that when I get closer. I don't want to be a Bravo Buster. As though I'm just crawling though. Like my airspeed, let me see, what is my true airspeed here? So it's what? 5 degrees Celsius, so if I set this to pressure altitude is what, 6, so gotta remember how this works. Yeah, my true airspeed is very low. I don't know, not sure why that is. Nothing, I'm not missing anything, right? I don't have flaps, right? My flaps are down. Okay. Yeah, I just feel like I'm dragging something. This is not normal. I expect to be, I mean, right? Because before I was at the white arc basically. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see if the same thing happens on my actual flight. See, right now it's where I expect it to be. But that's because I'm descending. Once I get back to level flight, let's see. How much is it gonna... Maybe it was because I was climbing a little too much. There's Narragansett Bay. Ground speed now. Yeah, 105. I mean, yeah, mine indicated I would expect to be in this range rather than this range. I don't know what's going on there. I'm at level flight. RPMs are right where they need to be. Alright, let me switch tanks again. Not sure. It's not an arrow, so I don't have a landing gear that would, well, my landing gear is causing just enough drag. I don't know. It's a little peculiar. Because I'm pretty sure on the ride over there, I was in this range for my indicated airspeed. And that was at 5,500. So I'm not sure why it seems to be lower. Like, true airspeed should increase as you get higher. I mean, the difference is like 1 or 2 knots between 5,000 and 6,000, but... Alright, I was perfectly trim. What happened? Should start my descent pretty soon, in just a couple miles. In fact, let's just see. Switch to OBS mode. Yeah. -3.5. Yeah, let's start our descent now. Gonna want to be at 2,500 before I reach the Bravo shelf. I'm over Taunton already, which is right where the ADSB veil is. There's Taunton right there. Switch over to Norwood CTAF. There's the shelf coming up. Have the would be seeing a pretty good view of the Boston skyline from this in real life here. You probably have a good view of the Providence skyline there, but alright, now I think that is Norwood right up ahead where that blinking light is. In fact, pretty sure that is my runway. So switch over here. We're 16 miles away. Norwood traffic, 9151 November is Piper. We're 16 miles to the south. Gonna make a full stop, 35 Norwood. I mean, it does give me some CTAF practice. I haven't really flown at a CTAF or at an untowered airport in a while. I'm trying to think of the last time I did, actually. Did I do it during my checkout this year? I'm trying to think of what I did. Where did we go? I know we went somewhere. Oh, no, I guess we did it. Yeah, we just did a few, we did a few standard procedures, and then we, called it a day and went back to Norwood, so, yeah, I haven't really done any, let's make sure oh, shoot, okay. Is it 4,000 or 3,000 here? It is 3,000, okay. Alright, so I'm fine now. That Bravo shelf really sneaks up on you from the south side. Alright. Traffic, Piper 9151 November, 10 miles to the south, full stop 35 Norwood. So yeah, Norwood is a towered airport, but because I'm on VetSim for this one, I'm sticking to the CTAF here. Nobody is online right now. And in case you were wondering why my scenery looks like it's fall, I installed some sort of thing that forced the seasons for the trees here, and I forgot what that utility was, and I would love to switch it back to just greenery for August so it doesn't look like it's October, but I have not found how to switch it back, so that's why the trees are so colorful. Okay, what am I looking at here? I am straight in, right? Or is that even the airport at all? Uh-oh. Been going to the wrong place this whole time? No, that is the airport. So why does it Oh, there's the runway. Okay, I see it now. So yeah, normally because this is CTAF, untowered, I would not be doing a straight in normally, but it's that sim, and let's see. I'll just check the traffic right now. Yeah, there is nobody at Norwood. So I'm just going to do it that way. I'm going to pretend that I'm actually in with Tower and they gave me a straight in to 3-5. So I'm only doing these radio calls just to do my CTAF practice here. Norwood traffic, Piper's 9151 November, 5 mile final, 35, Norwood. Alright, so now we're at 5 miles, so I'm gonna ease off. I'm gonna make it 2,000 RPMs, bleed off some airspeed here. Start to get some flaps in. Okay, let's even switch it lower. Okay, flaps 1. We're gonna do 1500 RPM. Descent here. Norwood traffic, Piper 9151 November, 3 mile final, 35, full stop, Norwood. Why are there trees where there shouldn't be trees? This wasn't like this before. 2. Full mixture. Fuel pumps on. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's looking better. Alright. Okay. I'm a little high. Can fix that. Flaps full. Airspeed's good. It's not so bad. Yeah, the one thing that the flight simulator is not good at is flare. It's not a good indication of how well you can land, especially with the yoke I have. But alright. open the window because it's probably really hot right now. Oh, landing light off. And if I had any flight plan open, I would... Well, maybe I'll wait to park it before I close it, but I will keep it in mind. Yeah, I can tell that the altimeter, I didn't have the altimeter set correctly. If I had flight following, they would have just given it to me, but that is where I park. 9151 November's little parking spot. Go here. Turn this off. Yeah. Continue. And my flight time was about the same, so I don't know. Okay. So there you have it. Let's tow this in. Towing, in real life you have a lot more, a lot better radius here. In fact, I'm just gonna skip this part, I think. Well, whatever, I don't know. The tow bar part is another thing that you can't really adequately do in Flight Simulator. You're always going to have a hard time with the tow bar in real life. Let me just see. I forgot if this thing had chocks as an option. Supposedly I have a co-pilot, but it doesn't actually show. Yeah. Oh, static elements. I guess that right there. Parking brake is set. Oh, oh wow. Oh, I see. Okay, so the static elements even includes the includes that. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that is also much much easier on the flight sim than it is in real life. The cover is a pain in the ass, especially if it's windy. But okay, well, there we go. Somebody locked me in. All right, well that's it for tonight. We'll see how I do in the real deal. Maybe I'll bring my, I'll try to remember my GoPro. Where is my GoPro? There it is.